Okay. I think those are Janet's. I think she's still got the garden. Yeah, I think she's still got the garden. Hi. You are. Yeah, well, I almost didn't go out. Just a minute, I'm taking, my famous pictures. Okay, so come along and I'll tell you while I'm going to drink some of that water. Is that water?
Yeah.
Well, I ended up running into somebody and they said, and I said, oh no, I'm walking and trying to get healthy. And they said, I saw pictures of your walk. And I said, well, yeah. And they said, yeah, and you were down by such and such. They did these shots of these flowers by, see what I mean? People do. And then they told me a story about what those pictures meant to them. And I said, really? And I said, thank you for sharing that, because sometimes I think, why am I doing this? But see, Lucy used to say that too. Here, this is a big table right here. Lucy used to say that too, is you don't know what that sometimes means. Look at me. And Teresa doesn't have her, she's not online anymore. But Teresa said that to me anytime I saw her. You really do seem to get around. And I said, well, I don't, because I don't. I mean, I take pictures of, here, we're at the park, look, pictures of that and we're here. And she said, no, because she wasn't getting out much anymore. And she said, I really like that. I look at them and I think, oh, I know where that is. Do I know where that? So this maybe means something. And the person who just talked to me recently about it is young. Like they're only, in their 30s. And it was an emotional kind of discussion they had with me. I'm not going to tell you all of it, but it's been I almost didn't show up because say let's go, because I'm playing with frickin' emails again, and the internet is running really wonky. So I it's not me, it's just running kind of wonky. And whatever is going on with one of them, we've been playing tag for 2 days now, and I finally took the liberty of looking the phone number up and asking for the person. I said, I think we're playing tag. So these are the other cards. And so by the time I get through with I told them that's I'm downtown Chilliwack, because the internet is acting out, and I think people just expect everybody carries a phone. Yeah. That you're just constantly checking it. Well, no, I didn't see any response this morning, so that's why I haven't looking for it. Right. And thought, well, now it's 3:30, 4 o'clock. They'll be closed by the time they find it, or that I find it. Well, then I'm sending it this evening, and then I'm just doing that. So anyway. That's better. There we go. So thank you for what help you did give me on the. No, you're right. It wasn't. Although holding the ladder is mostly what had to be there. You see what I mean by this was not the easiest little production, and going up the ladder with some of those places with a can of paint was not going to happen. I can usually balance a ladder. I used to be able to. I could walk a ladder. Like to actually walk it like stilts. Something about like that wood one, like preferably wood than metal. Although I used to be able to do metal, they're too heavy now. Or stand on it, Oh, look, I can do this. That's that. Make friends with your ladder. Right. But it's really tricky when some of the wood that you're standing on is going to break through. That's not making friends with your ladder. That's
making friends with the ground.
That's making friends with. You can't make friends with something that isn't holding up. So the office is really warm.
Yeah.
This doesn't taste good, Tim. This bottle is that stuff tastes wonky.
Look at inside of it.
Well, I would advise you not to drink that. And some bottles are wonky. That's why those water bottles, like we keep filling them up. The new ones won't. You get them, in the last year, that they go wonky. Those bottles are like 5 or 6 years old. So, anyway.
So much for my thirst.
Well, isn't there any more water on the bank? Oh, well.
All the bottles off the bike is how it managed to end up in the dam.
Well, so I don't know if we'll be out on bikes tomorrow. I guess we could. I'll be done by around 11, meaning that we would have time to go out on the bike. What do you know? I don't know. It's interesting too, isn't it? Sometimes it's always the same subjects, but I tell you, the pictures are different. It has to do with the light levels and just the time of year with the park or the day. Or I suppose I used to go going through all the photographs and saying, well, let's see all the pictures I have of, say, that bench.
Yeah.
And they'll all look like a different bench. Or awfully damn close to it, except maybe the trees. You say, well, isn't it the same background? But just like what's going in with it. And actually, bench pictures are what often have weird response. Anyway, okay.
Then I'm asking for 3 days off in September as well.
For what?
Toy run.
Toy run. Well, there's brigade days. I don't know if you want to go or I mean, it's up to you, whatever, and all of that stuff. So, but tonight I thought, well, we get through here. I'm going to go home and have my famous glass of wine, so maybe my hip will stop hurting enough. And then we can either try watching it, a David Suzuki thingy, or I figured I'd bring up the videos that I've got 8 of them. I don't know how long each of them are. I think they're each about 10 minutes. So 10 to 15 minutes. Well, and I don't even know if they're any good. I've uploaded them, but I haven't posted them to Facebook. Usually I view them before I post them to Facebook. But I found last night a rather late night too. And I didn't get settled until well into 11, and I was up at 5. So I'm kind of at that point again. I don't think I've got any appointments of anything on Saturday. I do again on Monday, stuff to deal with. Tuesday, and then Wednesday is, I don't know what happens Wednesday again. It's
4 of Wands, 9 of Pentacles.
Hold on. What?
4 of Wands, 9 of Pentacles, and 8 of Chalices.
I thought you always dealt 4 cards.
Yeah. Knave of Swords.
Really? Put them in the side of them. Just put those here. No, I don't want those. Put those down. Oh, I'm trying to do this with getting you on the camera too. Oh.
Knave of Wands. It's not me.
Fucking amazing. Anyway. Okay, that might be part of it. I'll just sit here. I'll sit for a second, talk about something. Fix your hair. You look terrible.
It's not surprising all the crap that got dropped in it today.
I'm not sure why those are off. I don't. I could have sworn they were on.
If they were on, they would have been there.
Well, no, the only other thing I can think of is I wonder if it's when we refixed. I had fixed some of the eaves. And that's about 3 years ago. Because, like on my downspouts, remember I had that done?
Yeah.
Okay, now I can't remember if I may be generating the memory. Like, for some reason, I couldn't get those back on. And I thought, that makes sense. Like, there was something, and I can remember saying, don't worry about it. Like, that's okay. Because they should have theoretically been on there, and they would have been longer ones, because it would have been almost a single one, rather than doing these cuts. But I overlapped to maybe keep them in place, and the other thought was the wind could have taken it out. Some of our wind and our snow shit, Tim, if it was loose, it could have gone sailing, and quite easily picked up and just gone woof. So what are those?
I have no clue.
Well, you could read them.
Seven of Swords and the Hermit.
Well, that answers another question. This is interesting. I want to see what that is, just for whatever reasons, but I think we'll do that afterwards. Because I watch the wind may come along and go,
Yeah.
phew. That's not right.
Magician. Yeah, we should say. Pull enough cards, he'll come up eventually.
No, won't come eventually. Chris thinks I should start reading. She says you should be reading. Lowball the whatever and offer a little extended time period, and I think you'll get clients. If I was going to do that, I should probably be talking to Kitty. Had something where if you're home, you field the calls on your phone. They just, like, you take a cut and they take a cut. It's like those networks,
Right.
like reader networks. Okay, this. I'm talking to, not you. Tell me what that is.
Knight of Swords.
What do you have over there?
Four of Wands, Nine of Pentacles, Knave of Swords, and Eight of Chalices.
Yeah, that's right. This deck is different.
You can
Well,
say
it
that
is.
again.
No, because there's a knight and a knave as opposed to
A 10.
and as opposed to a page. Whatever it is swift. Watch, the cards are going to blow away. Better show me what it is, too.
Three of Pentacles.
Okay. Well, that's an interesting thought. Feels good to be here right now. It's an interesting thought. No, it feels good to be here. No, it's still on record. Oh, hello. I know, take 20 minutes and come over here. And I thought of taking the van up there, but you know what? It's oiled to shit. What boots am I gonna frickin' wear? Like rubber gum boots?
Yeah, the oil will start to dissipate.
Well, hopefully, or
This is
whatever they've
very
got
nice.
on it.
Yes, it is.
Peaceful, it's quiet, it's cool, there's a nice breeze.
It is usually quite peaceful. That's the thing. It's not. There's some traffic noise, but it isn't like downtown even. Salish Park has some lovely little spots, but it's.
Nice.
Oh, it's more than that. It's lots of icky things. I'd like to track Dawn. I've wondered if it's Dawn who's gone out there and just sprayed over the tagging. Because he would. He's the only one I can think that would be pissed off to have it in that area. I mean, and
Maybe the couple in that house?
there's no couple in that house. That place is empty.
I'm talking about the ones in the big house across the old music academy.
I could ask her, but I don't think it's them. Dawn, it would make sense because it would make sense, and I don't think it's anybody at Mark's that's paid for over it. The last splash on it looks like somebody used white paint, house paint. And the odds are Dawn would have that more than the people behind us, okay? So, and the first time looked like somebody had oversprayed it with spray cans of paint, which, by the way, he'd had a red truck, and he has a red bike, and it was sprayed with red spray paint, and I'm like,
Yeah, but that's a Harley red.
well, it would, I think, it irritates me because it's a tag. Like, it's not just, I was here, kind of, shit, so. Anyway. Oh, it does, it feels good here.
Should have brought a pillow and a blanket.
Yeah.
Said that last time, too.
Well, we're not going to stay very long because I'm going to go home and get my boots off because that sounds like a good idea, too.
I'll probably run around the house naked by the time you get there.
Oh, well, that's always fun, isn't it? I'll send you upstairs, get you something to eat into you, and we gotta get garbages dumped. I don't know if I should be playing with the cat litter or not. It just seems like just non-stop things, something. Although most of the stuff at the house that I've been doing, Tim, I haven't done for 2 years. Minimum 2 years. And that eaves trough is a good 3 years cleaning that since it was last cleaned. And it might be 4. On the other corner side, we did clean some of that off.
Yeah.
We did that not last fall, the fall before, so 2 years ago. The side with this porch swing is a good 3 to 4 years. So, and the 2 buckets need to be picked up and brought around back. I don't really want to lug them. I will put stuff in the van and dump them. And they wouldn't hurt dumping. In fact, he didn't seem to mind the people behind us. Because he went out with a weed eater.
Turn this on tape.
Yeah. He went out with a weed eater, and I was the one that went running out there. I saw him with it. I thought, oh my God. Can you imagine taking a weed eater? Yeah, you know what's in that junk, right? Needles and glass. So don't you dare do that. What? Some of the weeds. I said, you can't lawnmow it. I said, it's beyond that. And Mark's guy used to for a while, and then he gave up on it. So I said, well, we'll try some of this because the cedars haven't got enough stuff falling down. The pine needles will compress and actually bury the stuff somewhat again.
I almost brought the weed whacker home today. I didn't realize that I would have built time transporting it on the bike.
Well, I don't know what you need it for.
It's going to turn around the front sidewalk. It's got an edging.
Oh, it's...
If you turn the head,
Yeah, leave it there.
that's an edge.
I think that it's Fresca.
Schweppes.
Or something, or I don't know. Well, I feel like this too. Yeah, every shot I have of that, it's a different picture. Like, well, of course it's a different picture, but it's
Yeah.
the lighting just plays differently. Oh, looky, there they are. Hey, look, it's the bikes, and they're even parked properly. I like it when they're balanced like that. Something like that. Okay, let's try doing this for a minute. This will be fun. And if it isn't fun, it'll be something, won't it? Let's see if I can pull this off. I don't know if this will do it. Is it still taping? Oh, I don't know. Oh boy, this is really awesome.
I got it. There we go.
Okay, there we are. Oop. Now wave at the camera. Move over a little because I can get in the picture. Wave at the camera. Okay, now wave at the camera. Okay. Whoa. There. Now I've got to repackage everything here, okay? Because it's just... Okay, look at me. There we go. Okay, that's it. There we go. We got the bike picture.